Welcome to the Higher Education Access Corner. I'm your host, Tiffany Devan, and joining me today is Pennsylvania Treasurer Stacy Garrity. Stacy Garrity is going to share some valuable information with us about the Pennsylvania 529 College and Career Savings Program and the Keystone Honors Program. Now, before I get started, I do want to share her very impressive bio. As the 78th Treasurer of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, businesswoman and retired U.S. Army Reserve Colonel Stacy Garrity is focused on transparency, cutting waste and fees, returning more than $4 billion in unclaimed property to its rightful owners, and making education affordable for our Pennsylvanians. As a businesswoman, Treasurer Garrity worked as one of the first 2 female vice presidents at Global Tungsten and Powders in Towanda, the largest tungsten smelter in the Western world. As a member of the U.S. Army Reserve, she served 3 overseas deployments in defense of the United States. Treasurer Garrity serves as fiscal watchdog, protecting more than $150 billion in state assets, managing the Pennsylvania 529 College and Career Savings Program and the PA Able Savings Program for disability-related expenses, and administering the state's unclaimed property program. Quite an impressive bio. Thank you, Treasurer Garrity, for serving our country, for serving our state, and welcome to the Higher Education Access Corner.
My honor, and thank you, Tiffany, for inviting me to join you. It's great to be here. So over the last few years, our team has really enjoyed working with FIA, and I'm looking forward to talking with you and other Pennsylvanians about financing their higher education. So as state treasurer, my office manages the state savings programs, including the PA 529 College and Career Savings Programs. And the PA 529 has been helping families save for education for 30 years, so 3 decades. Mm-hmm. And right now, we have about 278,000 accounts with about $6 billion in assets saved. So before we start, I really encourage everybody to go out and check out our website. So it's PA529.com. So we rebuilt the site from the ground up, and it's much more streamlined and user-friendly.
Mm-hmm. And I've actually checked it out. So I did go onto the website this morning, and I've seen the old website and the new website, and I do like it. Very user-friendly, lots of information on there.
Well, thank you. Thanks for checking it out.
Absolutely. So just to get started, many of our listeners don't know what a 529 plan is. So could you share that information?
So certainly. So if you open a 529 plan, it's a great way to save and pay for college and career education while getting tax advantages. So we offer 2 types of PA 529 plans. So first is a guaranteed savings plan, and we call it the GSP, and that allows savings at today's tuition rates to meet tomorrow's tuition costs. So if, for example, if you save enough for a credit of 2022 tuition rate, so your savings will cover the cost of that credit when the child needs it. So say, for example, it's 2032 or 2042 or whenever. And then the second is the investment plan, and that offers a variety of investment-based options. The investment plan is rated silver by Morningstar, meaning it's one of the very best 529 plans in the country. In fact, there are only 12 silver plans, so we're very proud of that. So families can choose between the plan, which helps meet their need for their savings goal. So they can choose between the GSP or the IP.
Okay. Now, can you tell us about some of the tax advantages of a 529?
Yes, absolutely. So we all know that higher education can be expensive, and it seems like costs are always going up, right? Especially today. So one of the ways that Pennsylvania 529 plans help is we offer some very nice tax benefits. So money you put away in the PA 529 plan comes from your after-tax dollars. So that would be like money used for your groceries or your phone bill. And then any earnings or interest gained on these dollars over time is tax deferred, which means you don't pay any taxes on the growth. Mm-hmm. And assuming that you use your PA 529 money to pay for qualified educational expenses, you will never pay taxes on those earnings. They remain tax-free at both federal and state taxes. So that's a really huge benefit. And for Pennsylvania residents, I should also mention that there's a state income deduction for contributions up to $16,000 per beneficiary per year. So these tax advantages really help PA 529's accounts grow over time. And although it's never too late to start saving, it's definitely good to start as early as possible.
Absolutely. And one other thing that I did want to point out is that for our Pennsylvania students who are planning to go on to higher education and they're looking for financial aid, if a student has or a family has a PA 529 plan, we do not factor in the PA 529 plan as an asset. So that's also a benefit for them.
You're exactly right, Tiffany. And we should be very clear that the benefit is only for savings in the PA 529
Right.
account, but it's a huge benefit. So any balance, for example, that would be in another state's 529 plan, that would impact state financial aid eligibility.
Absolutely. So I do want to pivot just slightly.
Okay.
So now let's talk about the Keystone Scholars program. So can you let our listeners know what the Keystone Scholars program is?
Absolutely. So for a lot of people, the hardest part of doing anything is just to get started. And so this certainly is true when it comes to saving, and especially for something that seems so far off, like when your kids graduate from high school.
Mm-hmm.
So Keystone Scholars, what it is, it's a program that helps families take that first step. So every baby born to a Pennsylvania family since 2019, and those adopted by Pennsylvania families, is eligible for Keystone Scholars.
Mm-hmm.
And that provides a $100 investment to start their savings for post-secondary education. So whether that's a four-year university, could be community college, technical schools, or even an apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the way, one of the best things about Keystone Scholars is that it is entirely it does not use any taxpayer dollars. So we think that's great. So we use how we get it funded. We use a surplus from the GSP fund. So Keystone Scholars funds are invested by Treasury. And so they grow right alongside the child for them to use after their 18th birthday.
So that's pretty exciting.
It is.
For that family who wants to kind of jump in on this, how do they access their $100 from the Keystone Scholars program?
You know, it's very simple, Tiffany. So new parents, first they should watch their mailbox, because about 6 months after the child is born, they get a letter from Treasury with instructions how to access the child's account. But it doesn't matter if they miss that letter. It's still very easy.
Mm-hmm.
You just visit pa529.com/Keystone to activate the account. So that $100 is a great start, but of course, we hope that families will also add additional funds for education by opening a separate PA 529 account for that child.
Okay, so that gives us, that kind of raises a very good point. So the Keystone Scholars program kind of gives them the jumpstart. So here's your initial $100.
Right.
And then the 529 plan, we still want them to kind of add some funding into it so it can continue to grow. So once that money is there and it starts to grow, what can they actually use a 529 plan to pay for?
Sure. I'm glad you asked that, because I talk about this all the time, because it's so important for people to know how flexible the PA 529 accounts really are. So PA 529 accounts, now of course they can be used for four-year universities, but they can also be used for community colleges, for technical and career schools, apprenticeship programs, even some K through 12 expenses, and even to help repay student debt.
Mm-hmm.
So accounts can be used for a wide variety of things, obviously tuition and fees, equipment, books, room and board, computers, and more. And all these details are right out on our website at pa529.com.
Okay, and that's really good information, because in talking to students a lot of times, I do talk to families, I talk to the students, they're aware of the 529 plan, but they're thinking it just has to be used for college expenses. So they don't know about all the other pieces.
I know they don't. And so we've been pushing, actually, when I first started at Treasury, I said, we really need to push the technical schools, the community schools, the apprenticeships, because obviously all over the Commonwealth, what we need is skilled labor, and people, when they think about 529, they think about a four-year university. So you're absolutely right.
Good. So how do you actually open and then contribute to the plan? Is there a cost or a minimum to actually get started?
This is actually one of the changes that I'm really proud of. So we're focused on making the PA 529 account work for all families. So what we did was we eliminated the minimum deposit required to open an account, and you can contribute just as little as $1. So seriously, just $1. And it's not just parents or guardians who can contribute funds to a child's 529 account. Grandparents, aunts and uncles, friend of the family. So if you're a parent and you have too many toys at your house, 529 contributions are really a great gift for the holidays. So both plans have some modest fees, but this is another bit of good news. We've just waived the annual fee for the GSP accounts through June 30th of 2023, and we also cut fees for the IP plan last year. So we really want to make both of our plans as affordable as possible. So to open it, it's very easy. You just go to pa529.com, and if they need help, they can also just call our toll-free number, which is 1-800-440-4000. So we have a team. They're ready to talk to anybody that wants to open an account or grow their existing account.
Okay, so you gave us quite a bit of good information. So we know that families can actually open up the account.
Yes.
Pretty free. Those who are taking advantage of the Keystone Scholars program, it's already going to be jump-started for them with the initial $100.
And then they can link the $100 to their 529.
To their 529 plans.
Yes.
And then they can continue to add as little as $1.
Yes.
Right. So for those of our listeners who want more information, again, it's PA529.com where you can get that information. And are there any additional resources available that you wanted to talk about?
No, but what I would say is we're very interested in working with community organizations who want to help spread the word about the PA 529.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that's interested in doing that, they can use our website and contact us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're happy to work with them, do webinars, what have you.
All right. Treasurer Garrity, thank you so much today for joining me here on the podcast. And again, I want to reiterate a few things. The website is PA529.com. And they may also call 1-800-440-4000 to reach someone to get additional details as well. And then I've also will state that I have had an opportunity to check out the website. So for our viewers and our listeners, it is very user-friendly. And there's lots of information, not just about PA 529 plans. I've also seen where they have some webinars on there as well. So lots of great information. Hopefully all of our listeners have had a great time listening to all of the information that Treasurer Garrity has provided to us. Again, I thank you for joining us. For those of you who tuned in, we thank you, and we'll see you a little later on the next episode at the Higher Education Access Corner. Thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany. I enjoyed it, and I'm excited to be part of FIA's new podcast.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.